This is not a paid sponsorship, but Focus Aid, in case you want to sponsor these videos, that would be awesome. Welcome, Data Rockstars. So super excited for this today. We are going to have a couple of short videos on other data sources that we can check out as we kind of build a view of a company and do different marketing campaigns and other things with them. So let's check out some today in influencer marketing. So this is another caveat to working with all these tools. So we are here students learning or someone trying to figure out how to do something, and that this tool is amazing and free, and they offer this little bit of demo data. And if you're going to use this for a company or to hire an influencer or anything like that, please use the paid version, and then reward the team that built that with all their hard work, and be able to have us served by them in the future, and they'll grow and improve the product and things like that. So if you are that company, definitely honor the work you do, and this is just meant as us kind of learning and trying to figure out how it works so that we can help you as well. So with that caveat, we are going to jump into the tool, and we're going to check this out. So StarNgage is a really interesting tool here for influencer marketing, and will shrink me a little bit, get me out of the way. But it's really cool because there's a lot of these influencer platforms. They work in different ways in this sort of startup area of how do you connect influencers to brands in different parts of the market and make that connection happen, and how do you discover. So there's like discover, and there's like interact with the influencer and negotiate, and there's the product placement side, and then there's the content side. So there's a whole spectrum of the process to get from we need someone to help promote something to actually making it happen and measuring it, and then off to the e-commerce races or wherever you are after that. And this one is really good on discovery. It has some other pieces there as well on hiring and everything, and I believe they've made some acquisitions and stuff, but you can figure all that stuff out later. What we have here is one page, which you don't have to be logged in to see. And then there's another page they have that's kind of similar for when you sign up for a free account and log in. So we're going to look at both of them, but we just want to pull some data about related influencers. So maybe if we're, giving a presentation about, expanding from one place to another, who do we reach out to? Or, how do we come up with ideas of who to reach, or just kind of understanding your audience and where that might overlap with certain creators and things like that. So lots of different things you can do with it, but this is where we're at on this page right now. It has a list of the top 100 influencers in the United States, and I have the drop down set to something a little bit different. So you can change this filter to a different country or region, and you can change it topics as well. So instead of the United States, say I'm doing a presentation and I'm in fashion, and I'm like, okay, we've covered North America, we're Lululemon, it's saturated, it's at every mall. I actually think we are in Europe, and we're in the western part of Europe, but we want to expand to Eastern a little bit, and maybe Romania is a good spot to go. And so I'm going to pick Romania. Maybe found some good rent down there, and want to figure out if I can find some influencers there to help, launch some new stores. I don't know if they're there or not, but, probably are. But let's say they aren't. And I'm going to put those in the drop down and click filter, and then we'll get a list here in the browser. And so there's many ways to get things from this browser view into data in Excel, and eventually Tableau, my favorites. Sometimes cut and paste works. By all means, if you can just, cut and paste, you can do that. What we're going to do is use a scraper, and there's many types of these scrapers that work in your browser as an extension, as a desktop piece of software, all sorts of different things, even web tools that are like more automated. And we're going to do those in a few of the upcoming videos. But I don't believe this one will cut and paste well. So what you want to do, and sorry, I went a little fast there. You want to highlight right before the field row names, because you want to bring that into not just the data, you want the name of that field. It's kind of a little tricky right before the pound sign there, hashtag. Drag that down to highlight everything all the way down to that first page, and stopping right before the number stuff. So right there, just that in the data. And if you have this scraper extension installed, which is what I'm going to recommend because it's a really small one. There are others out there. Some are kind of easy to figure out. Some are kind of annoying. If you're a developer, you definitely probably have some more developer tools that are really sophisticated. The idea is just to pull that table out of there so we can get it into either Google Docs or Excel. So this one, scraper, offered by DVHTN as a developer, because there's probably like a million things named that. So go ahead and install that in Chrome, and then it should be in your extensions. It'll look like this. I pinned it to there because now in the extensions menu, there's a bajillion things over that way. And once that's there, we can go back here. And like I said, I pinned it. It's right up here. You can click, and I'm going to click scrape similar. And it's going to pull it up here, frames, blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, it looks like you got it anyway. So you can export it to Google Docs. I'm just going to copy it to the clipboard. Copy to the clipboard that fast because it's not a ton of data. Pop into Excel. Blank workbook. And I'm going to try to paste it. So pasting doesn't always work the best. We'll see what happens. Looks like it's fine there. So that actually got it in the individual rows, which is what I was looking for. Sometimes it pastes everything into one row because it doesn't get that delineation, that tab between things. So if that happens, go to paste special, and if you click regular text, it might figure that out as well. And that second row looks wonky. I don't think we need that. We're good to go. And remember, there's a lot of different ways to do this in Excel, but if you do need to see that it's not cutting off the text, you can double click that row in between it to just resize one. Or there's also, let me see if I can remember this, like, is it like Alt-Shift HOI or Control-Shift HOI? Something like that. Oh, anyway, there's some super shortcut key that'll resize all of those at once. You might have to do Control A and then Control Shift HOI. Well, I don't know. Miss TikTok's Excel is way better than me on the Excel tips. Definitely check that out if you need to resize all those. But we're going to bring it into Tableau anyway, and none of the data is hiding, even if it's cut off. So you should be good to go there. So with this one, we are going to File, Save As, and we're going to call it Romanian Fashion. And save. So I did it before, but you get the idea. There you go. So you've got the username, and looks like it's combined with both the profile name and the @ although we can fix that in either Tableau or Excel. It works very similar. I'm going to put that in the last row so I don't mess up what's next to it. And in Excel, you can find it sometimes in the menu, in the data menu, or you can search up here. It's actually right there. Text to columns is what this is. And so you can search text to columns and just keep typing it in. It'll eventually come in there. Or you can highlight that row, click text to columns and delimited. And you can click next, and it is delimited by that @ and now you can, or actually, if you want the @ and the profile spaces are going to be mixed. Okay. Yeah. All right. Delimited by @ and you can keep going next or just click finish. It's kind of a simple one. We're going to call that name, and that's username. So now we know their exact @ profile and their regular name there. So instead of it all scrunched in one, that's better. And you can do the same thing in Tableau and create a transformation and a custom split. And it's the exact same thing as text to columns. Works slightly differently, but that's basically the idea. So there we go. That is one way to do it. That's their unlogged in page. We picked Romanian Fashion. There's also this other thing once you're logged in that gives us a couple other options to filter out. So this is the free account. It starts with your influencer discovery here with the magnifying glass of 4.1 million influencers. And we have a new filter section here. So we're going to zoom in, say hello to me for a second. So we can choose filter. And now we've got a lot more options. So you can choose only people with engagement rates of like 5%, only with reach above whatever. You can sort by the most hired, by the number of followers or best engagement. So like we talk about a lot of times, like, maybe followers is a vanity metric, but maybe you're trying to get something for Coca-Cola out to the most people all over. So it all depends. Now, there's also a difference between the country of the influencer and the country of the audience. So maybe that influencer is in Toronto, Canada, but their audience is in the United States mostly because there are, 340 million people in the US versus 37 million in Canada or whatever it is. So maybe by the sheer percentages, they might be more popular in the US. That's probably a pretty common one, but you can try different things here. You can choose by topics of influence. So let's say, oh man, fashion ones. Let's see what we have here. How about fashion or fashion and design? Let's do fashion design so we can maybe go a little bit more out there with things. And we want region, influencers country, audiences country. So I'm going to do audience. Maybe it'll let me do Romania. And I don't really care where the influencers is. I just want the audience being there. And I had those reaches up there kind of wide. Let's lower that down and click filter and see what happens. Who do we get? All right. Sweet. So not a lot because we filtered it down to just the handful that would apply. But you probably want to expand this a little bit. So maybe let's go back there, lower the engagement rate, maybe lower the little toggles, pretty small. Okay. So little stepped toggle won't let me do like 500,000. It's either 0 or 2. All right. Well, there you go. Filter. Could also do multiple tags as well, but that gives us some more. All right. We are good to go with that. So I am going to, again, do similarly to that other list we did here. This one's very simple table. This one's a little fancier with the design, little rounded corners and everything, but it is a table like any other table. Highlight that, and then go to our scraper, scrape similar, and hopefully it gets it. And there we go. We got it. Copy to clipboard again. Head over to Excel. And do a paste again, see what happens. Looks good. So we're going to call this fashion design. And this is Romania audience. Awesome. Again, you can see the rest if you wanted. And of course, we could do the split here. I am highlighting that by clicking the top of the row, and then I hit Control X. And so if you do that by clicking there on F, Control X or Command X if you're on a Mac, you can click that first column there and Control V or Command V, and that pastes it around. And what we did before was click that, click data up here, or search for the text columns, delimited, other at. Oh, let's see what happened there. Oh, at's first. Okay. They switched it around. So the delimiter is a space, which is different. So, no. Well, there you go. Not ideal since they have another space after that. All right, well, let's just go with that. And the title got messed up, but that's okay. Can deal with the United Kingdom and United States later, but cool. There you go. And so now if we want, we can pop into Tableau, connect to, actually, we are in regular Excel files, so it's already up there. And let's go to our folder with influencer data, pop that in. And there you go. So category, fashion design, engagement, likes, and influencer. So of course you could pop that in here, influencer names, and you can put number of followers, and followers came in as a text because that's that weird K thing. I might have to work with formatting if you want to do that as a number, but you could at least do that as a label. Let's do something else instead. Let's do engagement and change that engagement to be averages and a sum, and format that is a percentage in the pane, and I'm going to do that just a 1 decimal. It's fairly reasonable. Let's do circles or something. Let's see what we could do. Let's do bubble charts maybe. What other data we have that could be fun? Category, average likes maybe. Let's put average likes up here. There you go. So now we have likes versus, oh, the likes is a text number. That is no good. Likes is a number. We need to make sure that is a data type number, and whole numbers for likes since it's not a decimal, and we need to make that a measure. Now we are good to go. So they are both there, and we've got a little bit of a chart. Probably driving you nuts with me being huge here, so we will fix that. And the average engagement there, let's change that to a percentage as well. So there's the axis and the pane here. So we're on the axis, and the scale percentage, drop it down to 1 or 0 because it's on the side. It's probably not really needed to show us with that. And let's see, engagement. Let's make the likes the size. So the likes should be size. That kind of gives us a gauge for this, the impact of things. And I usually like the filled in shapes so you can see it a little bit better. And instead of that, for color on the influencer, how can we make this look a little bit better? That is too many for the influencer. Maybe the influencer is the label, and then the color can be engagement rate, which is going to be an average. And let's change the color off the default blue to something else more fun. And there you go. All right. Feeling pretty good with that. So now you can see both high engagement up here and high average number of likes. So that one actually has low engagement, even though it's a high number of likes. So depending on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to be efficient or not, and how you're structuring how you pay that influencer, are you paying them for like the reach? Are you paying them for the likes? Like whatever that structure looks like, this is telling you two things that are a little bit different. So even though they have similar likes and similar engagement, this one has a lower percentage engagement than that. So make sure your goals are clear with what you want. But that's pretty good. So I think we are good with Romanian fashion top influencers for there. And if we want, we can also do data, add new data source, and pick our other Romanian fashion data. Hopefully that's the other one. Yay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this one's a little bit different. So I'm going to do a new sheet, and we have, let's see, we have the @username, we have the followers, the number, and the engagement rate. Let's go back here in the data. We have, let's see what else we have. Okay. Let's do category is kind of what I'm most interested in. So let's do, what was category? Topics. Okay, no wonder I couldn't find it. There you go. Topics here, and engagement rates, and wow, that is, okay, that's actually kind of interesting on its own. Let's do a bar chart of that. Top engagement rates, and make sure that is, there's only going to be one record, so the average won't change anything. But let's control click topics, drop it into filter, Null doesn't make sense. Let's do top by field, top engagement rates. Let's do the top 20 by engagement rates and click apply and OK. And of course, we can also do that formatting, format engagement rate, drop that down, go to percentage and pop it back to 1 or 0 there, and make sure you can see everything. And we can resort that descending. And wow, those are really long. Let's make sure we can see everything. Of course, you can also resize these this way, but that just made it even bigger. We don't want to scroll that much. Can you do it a little bit? Let's do fit entire view, and let's add a label at the end, except for we need to do pane and percentage and drop that down to 1. Look at the label. Let's make it match the mark color, make it bold. You could also align it to the left there. So this wouldn't be very accessible on a website because the colors are too close. If you did do this one, you probably want to make it like white or something like that. And then obviously you can change the color. I don't know, fashion. What are we doing? Fashion, pink, teal. Cool. So engagement rates by topic. Although what we need to know and what we filtered on was this was engagement rate by topic for Romanian fashion influencers. And whatever else you filtered on, I don't know if we filtered this one on fashion and design. So whatever you do, make sure that your title and company encompasses everything that you are actually showing, so you're not misrepresenting what the data is. And you've got a good category there. So dogs fashion. So I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. So it depends on what your purposes are for your presentation. So if you're only focusing on certain categories, like this isn't exactly like a scientific thing where like these are the top areas of fashion influence and we must cover these in this area. The purpose of your presentation might be what topics should we look at that would be related for this campaign and for these users, or how do we understand our audience? And so maybe dog fashion isn't relevant to your thing. Maybe it is. Maybe Lululemon wants to, maybe they already have some dog accessories. I don't know. But anyway, you can exclude whatever you need based on the purposes of whatever your presentation is. So with that, let's wrap up on this tool, but I will post the different links to this page, and then you can go ahead and sign up on StarNgage for a free account up here, and then you can use the same discovery area as well. So with that, Data Rockstars, we will see you next time for some more tools to check out and play with and learn how best to work with data.